Welcome back to another episode on the podcast. I did not record one last week. I was traveling and it just, I had every intention of getting one recorded, but I did not do so. So this week we're going to talk about the astrological transits for August. So by the time we listen to this, we'll have made it through the majority of July. And I do believe the impacts of the transits of July are going to be felt for quite a while. And it doesn't mean that because July is over, things are calm because now we're entering eclipse season. So as we listen to this, we've kind of like entered the portal into eclipse season. I'm recording this on the full moon, so we'll kind of be in eclipse season after this. We're going to have our total solar eclipse in Leo, which is a south node eclipse on the 12th, and then the 27th, I believe it is. We'll get to it. We're going to have a lunar eclipse, a partial lunar eclipse in Pisces. And that is a north node eclipse. So August is still going to be pretty intense. We have a lot that we're moving through. And again, like I said, these outer transits are really big. They are the outer planets. Sorry, the bigger transits with the outer planets are really big, really impactful, but I don't believe that we're necessarily going to see it straight away. And because I think that it's so big, it's kind of like we were talking about this on our full moon call yesterday inside third space, but it's kind of like when you have a lot of squares and oppositions in your chart, like a kind of a lot of really challenging aspects, you kind of know how to navigate the waters of challenge, and it doesn't feel as challenging as say somebody who's got a lot of sextiles and trines. And so for them, when they experience a more challenging aspect, they're kind of rocked a little bit harder. So I feel like because we've just been like, it's like thing after thing after thing after thing for years, in all honesty, I think we've come to a point where, the outer planets, because they're in trines and sextiles to each other, are really supporting us in rebuilding. It's like, especially with this basket that we've been having, this Barbalt's basket, which we had Jupiter opposite Pluto that was laying the foundation. Now we have the sun, and then we're going to have Mercury. And so all these planets are kind of coming in and taking that place, which is allowing us to shine, to expand, to communicate, to think. Like there's so many beautiful potentials to lay that foundation of rebuilding upon that. And so that's kind of the ask right now. And especially with this full moon, it's like one question that has been on loop that we talked about inside the full moon circle, but one question that's been on loop that I think is really great to journal around is that what is the part of yourself that you suppressed as a child when you were younger in order to receive love? Because often it's that part of ourselves that really, when we can take up space with that piece of ourselves, like that's what we're here to share. That's what we're here to give to others. And because this is Aquarius, this is very much about being in service. It's about our heart because there is a Leo component to it because it is a full moon, which is the moon is in Aquarius, the sun is in Leo. So we have to look at both pieces of that. But it's really asking us, like, what is the part of yourself that if you weren't suppressing it, when you are aligned with that, you're sharing that with the world. Like the world needs that part of you. I was recently in a program called Say It Louder with Reagan Hillier, and essentially it was really this theme, like, what is the thing that you've been too afraid to say? What is the thing that you need to say? Because that's really when you own that space, like everything changes. And Aquarius is all about freedom too. It's kind of weird. It's the rebel, it's revolutionary, but it's so much about freedom. And so there's this thing that happens when you stop giving your power away to other people's expectations, societal conditioning, and you start to live your truth. You literally find this freedom of like, ooh, and like the self-discovery of like, this is who I am. And so much of that is wrapped up in this moon. And we're going to get into August transits because again, like the intense, like the really, really, really big stuff from July may be over, but we're going to be seeing that for a while. We're moving into eclipse season. Those planets are still talking to each other and they're still going to be talking to each other for a while, and they're going to come into like closer exactitude. I do not know the exact dates, but because of retrogrades and this and that, they're going to be like kind of like wavering, and then they're eventually going to separate. But for a while, they're in this little triangle. So it's not like July's done and everything's great and everything's rebuilt. Like it's taking time to rebuild. It's taking time. And it's funny on TikTok. I love TikTok. TikTok is like the Wild West. And I love how authentic I feel like they value on TikTok where you just, it's a lot of talking heads. But I notice on TikTok more so than Instagram that every time I post about a transit, people are like, oh my gosh, when is it going to end? I'm over it. I'm cooked. Like, this is so bad. Like, can anything else happen? This is so long. Like, when is Pluto going to be over? And I'm just not that kind of astrologer. Like, I really believe that it's all here to show us something. It's all here to help us grow and evolve and expand and see parts of our soul and see parts of ourselves. And so even when things are challenging that are happening, and my caveat, and I say that, and I'm a highly emotional person. I'm moon square Pluto. So when I go deep and dark and intense, I go deep and dark and intense. And I'm like, when is it gonna, I ask the same questions. But I have Jupiter in my eighth house. So I feel like that it's always this beacon of light. It's like, okay, what is my lesson? How can I take this, alchemize it, and transform it into something and to move me forward and use this and kind of like ride that wave. And so that's kind of the way I always look at astrology. But okay, let's dive into the the astrological transits of August 2026. So we're going to start out August 3rd. We have Chiron stationing retrograde at 0 degrees and 52 minutes of Taurus, and it will be retrograde until February 2027, where it's going to be at, forgive me, I don't know the exact, I think it's going to be at like 24, 25, or 26, somewhere between 24 and 26 degrees of Aries. And then eventually it's going to come back into Taurus. So we've had this taste of what Chiron and Taurus is. This is financial situations, this is food resources. I've noticed like really random things, like being not being able to find them as far as like food stuff. Um, this is our body. This is health because it is our body. It's our relationship to our body, it's our relationship to our senses, and all of that wrapped up. So retrogrades, outer planets station retrograde for a long time. And so it's not like a Mercury retrograde where kind of the whole time we're feeling a little bit chaotic. There's miscommunication, there's glitches, there's breakdowns. It's not going to be like that. Usually when any planet stations a retrograde, it's the retrograde, the actual stationing retrograde and then the stationing direct that we kind of feel the most activation. Again, it's kind of like that. I've used that analogy before of like the like a cargo train and and it comes to a stop and it's changing directions and it's kind of like shuddering or like jerking itself to like move back in the other direction. That's kind of like when we feel that like back and forth, the most chaotic energy. So just notice what comes up as Chiron stations retrograde. Again, Chiron is our wounded healer. It's the wound that we have to accept, and in accepting it, we kind of change our relationship with it, and then we can help other people, which in turn helps ourselves. So Chiron itself can't be healed or changed or whatever, but we can use it to help other people. On the 6th, we have the Sun in Leo trine Saturn in Aries. Saturn is retrograde. Saturn is boundaries, it's restriction, it's karma, it's time. It's 3D material time. It is linear time that we know. And so the sun, again, the sun in Leo is really bold, it's really big, it's really creative, it's really playful, it's really fun. And well, Saturn is like, ooh, let's like get some structure in here. Let's look at a few things. Let's not get carried away. It's kind of like the um oh my gosh, the fun police. We'll say that. My kids have said that before, the fun police, right? So it's kind of like that fun police coming in and being like, let's slow down a little bit. Let's like look at things. Let's maybe like get some structure in here. And also remember, like creativity, we often feel like when we create space, when we create structure, when we create a container, it's taking away the creativity, but actually creating a container like consistently, like if you're a writer, carving out time on your calendar to sit and write every single day, like if this is your career, right? Like that really does help. Carving out time to sit in meditation every single day, that creates creativity. So we think that with structure and containers, it sucks the life out of it, but it really doesn't. It really creates containers. So that could be a positive aspect of it because it is a trine. And then the same day, Venus moves into Libra, where she rules. Venus rules Taurus and Libra. Venus and Libra is a little bit more refined. I energy with Venus and Libra. Great cycle. So this is officially out of Cancer, out of like I see somebody on a Venus and Libra trying to Pluto, Venus is justice. It's the front lines, like speaking their voice and being really loud. Libra is a little bit more like, I will create art to create a movement. I will Libra influences others that are the ones that will be out there. If you think about even the Libra Aries axis, right? Libra is the harmony, the people pleasing a little bit, right? In conflict avoidance, it wants peace and wants, but it wants justice. And so in influencing Aries, Aries is the one that's like the go getter. The I will say what I have to say and I will say it now. So it's kind of like working like that. So again, this could be seeing the injustice and influencing people, whether it's through art or whether it's through music or something to create a movement, right? Um, what is it? There's that song. It says the revolution will not be televised. I can't remember what song it is, but was reading it recently in a note, and it's like that's kind of what this is, right? Where it's like Libra is influencing that in that way. And then Venus is also going to be opposite Neptune because they're all at 4 degrees. And Venus opposite Neptune, really pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to anywhere where you're feeling a little bit confused, where there's a little bit of illusion, especially around relationships, around finances, around not art. I mean, it could be art, but using it for creativity rather is maybe what I'm trying to say. But notice your dreams, and notice where you're feeling confused, where you're maybe feeling like you've had the wool pulled over your eyes. Where are we not seeing clearly when it comes to that? And again, this is all in the same day. So this could be influencing how you perceive this power to the people, this sort of Venus trine Pluto as well. And then on the 8th, we have Mars is moving into Cancer. Mars in Cancer is super passive aggressive. Mars in Cancer is muted because Cancer is a water sign. Cancer is not going to be loud and bold and aggressive and all those things like Mars can be. It is going to be tends to be a little bit passive aggressive when Mars is in Cancer. So just notice when those things come up. Mars is our drive. Again, it's action, assertion, and Cancer is our home life, our inner world, our inner experiences, our emotions. It's constantly changing. And so just being aware of that. And then we have Mercury opposite Pluto. So again, like I said, Mercury is now taking the place of what was Jupiter in this little basket formation. And so we're really expressing this. We're really giving an opportunity. We're kind of being handed the microphone of like, what are we rebuilding? What needs to change? How are we identifying ourselves? How are we self-expressed? And again, Mercury is the mouthpiece, it's the mind. So it's really, really amplifying that. And Mercury, I think, is one of the most underrated planets. I think it's such a powerful, potent planet because it is our mind and because it is our voice and it is the words that we say. And when we're manifesting, we're working on manifesting, we're working on calling things into our life. The quality of our thoughts and our words, what we're saying is what we're calling in. If we're always negative and if we're saying negative things, those are the experiences and things that we're going to call into our life. So this is a really beautiful opportunity. So it's going to be opposite to Pluto, trine to Neptune. And then on the 12th, it's going to be sextile to Uranus, but it is like all in this little configuration here. And then we also have Venus that is trine to Uranus. This is unpredictability, instability, truth, shock, awakening, all of these things that have to do with our values, with our relationships, with money, with beauty, with aesthetic, all of those things. And then on the 12th, we have our first total solar eclipse in Leo. So the nodes have switched and it's happening at 20 degrees in 1 minute of Leo. This is happening in gate 4, the gate of formalization. So this is a south node eclipse. I was reading a book. I can't remember what it's called. I literally think it's called like Eclipses in You, maybe, by Judith Hill. And she gives this example of a faucet. Now, if you put your hand over the faucet, and then let go, like there's a surge of power. And that's usually what happens with the North Node is a surge of energy. It's positive, and I'm air quoting it if you can't see on YouTube. There's a surge of power versus a South Node eclipse is usually an escape of energy. Like it's like the water that's spurting out, right? It's an escape of energy. And so South Node eclipse tend to be a little bit more challenging, a little bit more chaotic, and especially in Leo. Leo is kings, presidents, leaders, government, entertainment, actors, musicians, is all that combined. So it'll be really interesting to see like on a global stage what happens, because as I've like really started to track the transits and watched like what's happened on politically. I don't watch the news, but I follow certain podcasts that talk about it. I just from an astrological perspective, like shit really aligns when it comes to eclipses. And so it'll be really interesting to see what happens with that, but it is very chaotic, right? The moon is going to be trine to Saturn retrograde, which of course the sun and the moon are going to be trine to Saturn retrograde. Like we said before, Saturn is restriction, it's karma, it's time, it's 3D, it's linear time. So it's like slow down. Let's make things make sense. Let's get a clear path. It's wisdom through time. It wants you to slow things down and draw things out. So this could be, and this is a fixed sign. And so when we have eclipses in fixed signs, it is a slower, more permanent type of energy. So what's happening now, we could be seeing 3, 6, 9 months down the way, even years down the way, because this is a fixed sign. And so it's also, so gate 4 is doubt about the future. And I'm reading a book called The Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. If you haven't heard it, it's fascinating. It's a parody. It's a satire. And it's about a demon writing to his nephew. And it's all about pride. It's about greed. It's about lust. It's about religion. It's about all of like these kind of distractions we find in life. And something that was said in the book, and I meant to bring it in here and I did not, but there's this little chapter where the uncle, so the demon, is talking to his nephew, but he's saying the best way to distract people, humans, the best way to get them off course is to have them oriented to the future, because eternity, the eternal is in the present. We find that in the present. We find God in the present, source, universe, our higher self, ourselves in the present moment. The past is, the past. And when we look back at the past, of course, that can distract us, but we can always come back to the present. But when we look at the future, at the potentials, at the kind of, the word fantasy comes up because we're in this gate 41 right now in this full moon in Aquarius. But when we are looking at the future and we're getting wrapped up in the mind and the possibilities and the fear and the hope and the anxiety and like all that stuff, like that's where we get pulled away from our center. And so this gate 4 is, again, it's formalization. It's doubt about the future, it's potentials. Now we have to remember too, with human design, anything in the mind is for other people. So we're looking at all these potentials. We're looking at what could happen. We have all these ideas and it's really for other people. The mind is for other people. So we can use that in response to people asking questions or people, in conversation. It's to guide other people maybe But again, we have to come back to our own authority and our own truth and our own knowing and our own body to know what's right for us. So that's on the 12th. And the 15th, we have Mercury is going to be conjunct Jupiter in Leo. And this is beautiful. Again, this is so self-expressed. Jupiter is expanding on it. We're learning something new. We're expressing, we're, being very big and bold and very Leo in this energy. And then on the 17th, we have Venus is sextile to Jupiter. Venus and Jupiter together, again, both the benefic planets. This is a really beautiful energy. This is expansion. This is luck. This is beauty. This is money. This is relationships. So really leaning into this energy and how can this influence you, or how can you use this, not influence you? How can you use this, utilize this in your life? Maybe you have something you want to launch, maybe a program. This is really going to be helpful for that. On the 21st, Venus in Libra is going to be opposite Saturn retrograde in Aries. Venus and Saturn are difficult, especially in an opposition or a square, because Venus is our feminine, it's flow, it's again money, it's relationships. Saturn is restriction, it's boundaries, it's let's slow down, again, like drawing things out over time, wisdom over time. And especially Saturn doesn't really express itself great in Aries. And then Venus is in her home in Libra. So we could find some speed bumps here. We could feel something slowing us down a little bit. So just like being aware of that. And then on the 22nd, the sun is opposite the north node. So it's going to be conjunct the south node, which is really just illuminating themes that we're meant to be leaving behind, themes that we're meant to be moving away from. Really notice maybe what themes came up now or are coming up now that were themes of the eclipse, because we just had our south node eclipse in Leo, right? And then later in the day on the 22nd, the sun moves into Virgo. Virgo is analytical. Virgo is a bit of a perfectionist. Virgo is about the body, the health, our daily routines, our day-to-day, our work type energy. And so it's like, what habits? I actually really love Virgo season, because it's like really getting clear on like what habits are supporting us and moving forward and what habits aren't. And really implementing, you have a whole season here to really implement the habits that you want to move forward, that you want to carry you forward. During the school year, I get up at like 5:30 in the morning, drop my kids off at school, go to the gym, go to the work. And I have this like set routine that I don't love waking up early, but I love having that routine. So it's a sacrifice that's worth it, because I get to go to the gym, I get to move my body, I get to do all these things before I have to go to work, or I have to like start my day. And over the summer, although it's been great, and I always remember everything is cyclical, over the summer, like I really haven't gone to the gym because I'm letting myself sleep in a little bit more, because I know that, again, it's cyclical, it's going to come back around. But I was journaling this morning, and my son starts school in less than a week. And I was like, I'm actually really excited for him to start school so that I can get to the gym by like 7:30 in the morning. It's great. And then I get to go to the gym. It's not like crazy busy. I get to get everything done, and then I can start my day, and I love it. So that's kind of like, what habits do we want to implement? What do we want to sustain? What do we want to work for us during the rest of the year? We can really begin during this Virgo season with that. And then on the 25th, Mercury enters Virgo. And then so again, all of the themes that I just talked about, now Mercury is communication, it's our minds, what we're focusing on. So this is supporting us. Mercury also rules Virgo. So this is extra support in really getting clear on that and implementing that, because we'll be thinking about it. We'll be communicating. Again, what we say, what we put out into the world is what we're creating in our reality. So speaking about the things, focusing on the things, thinking about the things, and really implementing those into our life. And then on the 27th, we have a Cazimi, Mercury Sun Cazimi. So it's just enhancing this, it's purifying this, it's clarifying these themes. And then this is also on the same day, we have our partial lunar eclipse in Pisces. So it's happening at 4 degrees of Pisces. And if you've heard, you know that 4 degrees is a really big degree right now, because Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus are all at 4 degrees as well. So we're highlighting this in a mutable sign. I mean, every sign is really being impacted. So we're going to have the sun is going to be sextile to Pluto, sextile to Uranus, in conjunct Neptune, and then Jupiter, which is the ruler of the traditional ruler of Pisces is going to be trine to Saturn. And this is happening at 11:18 p.m. in gate 55. This is the gate of abundance, the gate of spirit. This is a north node eclipse. So, sort of like we talked about before, this is a surge of energy. This could be really positive. This could be helpful. It's still an eclipse, so it is a little bit chaotic, but this is really, because this is Pisces Virgo axis, this is really focused on our health, body, but really fixated on mental health, right? I mean, the whole Pisces Virgo axis is mind, body, spirit. That's what it is. So really pay attention to your dreams right now. Pay attention to where you want to escape. Pay attention to your mental health. What are the thoughts on loop? Like, what are you feeling pulled towards, and how can you ground yourself in, right? How can we ground ourselves into our body? This is really stimulating the subconscious, which is why it really impacts our mental health. We might also feel exhausted. We might want to sleep more, which is a form of escapism, right? Like just falling asleep and napping and kind of sleeping the day away and avoiding it. So notice where those themes are coming up. In gate 55, again, gate of abundance, gate of the spirit. This is awareness of the spirit, because gate 55 is either in the mood for something or it's not, and your moods will dictate that, right? And so gate 39, which is its opposite, gate 55 tends to be very open and receptive to gate 39. I have my oh my gosh, I can't remember. I think I have gate 55. I think I have Jupiter in gate 55. Yes, Venus or Jupiter, one of the two of them. I have them in gate 55, and it's very I lost my train of thought because I was trying to remember which planet I had in gate 55. But anyway, I do have something in gate 55, but it's really when you're in the mood for something. Oh, that was what I was going to say. I attract so many gate 39s in my life. Like my son has a son in gate 39. My daughter has something in gate 39. My mom has something in gate 39. Multiple exes of mine, people I've dated, have had their son or something in gate 39. I constantly attract this energy. And what it does is it provokes gate 55 so it can see what kind of mood it's in. Because if we're like even keel and then gate 39 comes and provokes us, it's like, are you feeling nonchalant? Are you really activated now? Do you really want to do something? And it's really here to show us what we want to do and what we don't want to do. So really paying attention to that. And then on the 28th, Mercury and the sun are square to Uranus. Unpredictability, truth, awakening, shock. Again, that we're seeing things very different, especially with Mercury here. We're seeing things very different, whether it's social media, whether it's technology, whether it's AI. We think about the future. Like, what is the thing that we're awakening to the truth of, and what is the thing that is asking to be seen? And then on the 31st, Venus enters her shadow phase. So she is going to station retrograde October 3rd at 8 degrees and 29 minutes of Scorpio, and then retrograde back to this degree where she's at on the 31st, which is 22 degrees and 51 minutes of Libra. So between now and October 3rd, really pay attention to the themes that are coming up around relationships, love, money, and things that you value. And because we'll be revisiting that over time. And that's really the transits for August. Again, just because July's over doesn't mean that we're not having intense transits. Like, these transits are pretty big. And so, yeah, working with it. Join us inside third space, because we have full moon circles inside third space. We're having Money by Design workshop next month. We're having a frequency workshop next month. And let me pull up what other workshops we're having, because it's going to be so good. We are having, let's see. Okay, I'm going to read the calls that we're having inside third space. Money by Design on the 4th. We're having our coffee chat, which is completely free, on the 5th. So you can join through the link below. On the 12th, we're having the space between seasons, identity, and what comes next. On the 26th, we're doing that frequency fundamentals workshop. And then we're going to have our full moon eclipse circle. I have not yet set the date. I have to look at my calendar, but that will also be there. So many opportunities, and everything lives as a replay inside of there. And it's really for the woman who knows that things are changing. You're in a shift, you're in a transition. So many of us, even on the coffee chats that we've been having so many conversations with people who are in this time of change and we don't quite know what it looks like on the other side. So we're here to support, we're here to lift each other up. We're here to like do this together and figure this out together. And that's what Third Space is. And it's been such a beautiful, beautiful space. So join us. The link for Third Space is down below. The link for the coffee chat is down below. Find me on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Substack, YouTube, all the places. It's at Rochelle.Christiane. That's ROCHELLE.CHRISTIANE. Website is the same. You can email me. But if you found the podcast helpful, share it with a friend, share it on social media, tag me. I'm so grateful for you, and I will talk to you soon.